back to another episode of the GOAT Fantasy Football Podcast. I'm your host, Jim Neander, the fantasy caveman, the Neanderthal, as sometimes known. Go ahead and find me on Twitter, at Jim Neander, or at GOATFF Podcast. Hit me up at the show. Let us know what you're thinking about our episodes. Good to get some feedback here. We have a lot of people talking about these mock drafts that we're going to be doing all week long. We've got our first episode up from the one spot, so just to let you know what we're working on right now, we're doing a 12-part mock draft series leading up to this weekend. A lot of people are doing their drafts this weekend. We're just about a week and a half out from opening day, so we have Labor Day weekend, tons of drafts happening, so I want to help you get ready here. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing one mock draft from each position, so 1 through 12, going straight through. Going to do a mock draft with you guys, so you can go ahead and see what your team could look like from each position. You know, if you're using my rankings, right? We're going to be using my rankings here. We're going to be doing all of our mock drafts on Fantasy Pros, so you know, they always have their own, you know, recommendations, of course. But you know, I have my rankings pulled up here for PPR. That's what we're going to be using. So that's what we're going to go from. So we're going to be picking from the number 2 spot today. The number 2 spot. You know, a lot of people, it's a pretty easy spot as far as, you know, where, you know, you're starting, right? Because almost everyone's going with Saquon Barkley. He's going to be, you know, kind of the, you know, consensus number 2, right behind Christian McCaffrey. Now, I'm okay with that. You know, Alvin Kamara, I think, is right there for me. I'm not exactly sure that, you know, that he's really going to be getting the amount of targets that we think he's going to get in the New York Giants, you know, offense. But, you know, we'll see. So, all right, here. It's just taking me a second to get us going here with our mock draft settings, just because, you know, I'm a little bit slow. So, all right, here. I think we're ready to go. All right, so got our rankings up. We're going to go number 2 here. We know Christian McCaffrey's going to be number 1, which he was. So, let's go ahead with Saquon Barkley here. Let's go consensus. We'll just get Barkley. We'll get this thing going here. We're going to go from there, right? All right, so let's do that. Okay, so now let's see who's going to go. We're not going to talk too much. We know who's going to go in these, you know, in this first round here, but let's see anything that shocks us. Well, the number 3 pick was Michael Thomas, so that's a little bit surprising to me, even though it's PPR. You know, for him to go number 3. Josh Jacobs goes number 6, so that's pretty high for Josh Jacobs, pushing Clyde Edwards-Helaire and Derrick Henry back towards the back end of that first round, but there they both go. All right, so we're coming back around. We see the same guys here: Sanders, Hopkins, Drake. All right, all that stuff is good. Julio falls to the 205. I think that's too far for Julio to go down. Then we have both of the tight ends come off the board. So, you know, if you saw the first episode here, which I hope you did, go back and check it out. You know, from the number 1 and the number 2 pick, even from the number 3 pick, you know, I'm going running back. And then a lot of times I'm definitely, you know, kind of highlighting getting the tight end. You know, hopefully it's Kelsey, but it's probably not. But I am getting George Kittle a lot at the 1, 2, or 3, you know, at that turn. But here Kittle's gone, so now we have to look and see what else we can do. So, all right, we're going to go running back here. We're definitely going to go running back with one of these upcoming 2 picks. So, let's look at who's available. Look at our rankings here. We've got Aaron Jones, James Conner, Chris Carson. And then for me, there's a very clear drop-off to Melvin Gordon, Lev Bell, and David Johnson. They're not on my radar, you know, this early in the draft. We're looking at wide receivers, and we see Allen Robinson, Kenny Golladay, DJ Moore, Juju Smith-Schuster. You know, for me, that's kind of the end of that tier. And I've got Kenny Golladay a pretty good amount above these guys. I've got him as my number 5 PPR wide receiver. You know, so then I'm going to take a look at my running backs here. And the highest guy for me is James Conner. You're going to get tired of hearing me draft James Conner. But I do have him ahead of Aaron Jones. I have Aaron Jones at 10, James Conner at 7 in full point PPR. But I tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to go with Aaron Jones because he's higher ranked. I'm going to play the game, and I'm going to hope that James Conner comes right back to me. So let's see what happened here. I picked Aaron Jones, and then boom, the number 1 guy at the turn went wide receiver, wide receiver. I love it. He went Allen Robinson. He went Calvin Ridley. You know, I mean, that's fine, but, you know, you're leaving running backs. You know, starting with 3 running backs is a little bit risky. I have a long wait to go. But at this point, there's 8 wide receivers off the board. So we're going to see what kind of wide receivers we can get here, because I love this start as far as my running backs go. I'm feeling like, man, and even still Chris Carson's there. I feel like he's a little safer than James Conner, and I'm a little bit, thinking about going there, but no, I'm not. I'm going to trust my rankings, like I said, and go James Conner. So we have 3 running backs here, folks. So, we're going to have to, get strong with wide receiver, make some smart picks, and holy wide receiver run. Wow. That's not going to help us at all. None of these big 3rd round, 4th round targets really made it back to us. Both the quarterbacks went in the 3rd round, which we figured. Jackson and Mahomes. Mark Andrews went in the 3rd, Ertz in the 4th. So, that stuff's status quo, but wow. So after I picked James Conner, over the next, 20 or so picks, I mean, that's, 13 or so wide receivers, right? That's a lot. So let's see what's left for us in wide receivers now that we have taken this route. Who are we going to wind up with? What kind of, volume can we get? What kind of upside can we get here? And as I look at it, this is why I love waiting for wide receiver. Let's look at who's available. A.J. Brown, DJ Chark. Let's get into my wide receiver rankings here. All right, so let's look at where these guys are. A.J. Brown is my number 11 ranked wide receiver. So I have him as a wide receiver 1. So I can still get a guy I think is a wide receiver 1 with my 4th round draft pick. So, I love that. DJ Chark, Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf, Devontae Parker. Guess what? Devontae Parker, my number 12 ranked PPR wide receiver. So I have 2 guys ranked right next to each other, 11 and 12, that are still available, that are still out here. So I'm going to play the game. I'm definitely going to go with A.J. Brown because I believe that Devontae Parker is going to be available to me in another couple of picks. So, all right. So I went with my boy here. Come on, get it back. I went with A.J. Brown, and then DJ Chark went, and then Melvin Gordon went. So that's all right. I'm going to come back here. I know I have a long wait again until I pick. So, all right. Now, quarterbacks. Only 2 have been picked. If Prescott, Wilson, Murray, or Watson come back to me, that's going to be the pick I make in the next round. But for now, we're still looking at wide receiver. I see Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf, Devontae Parker, and for me, the rest of these guys are after that tier. I know I can wait because Michael Gallup is my guy for the season. Michael Gallup will probably be gone when it comes back. I can't say that for sure, but I have Michael Gallup as my highest weighted wide receiver. I don't want to just play the game here because I'm trying to get a high draft pick, but I am going to go with Devontae Parker and hope that Michael Gallup makes it back. Let's see what happens. Wow. So this is what happens. You play the game. Sometimes you get it. Sometimes you don't. If you looked at the first episode, he did not make it back to me when I wanted him to. And now Michael Gallup has made it back into the end of the 6th round, which I love as my 3rd wide receiver. So right now I have 3 guys who I have ranked as wide receiver 1s. And all 3 of them I got after, the first 3 rounds. I was able to stack up on, on running backs. So if I'm drafting this grade right now, I'm already doing the victory dance. I know you don't win at the draft. We all get that. You can't win your draft. You can't win your league in the draft. I get that. I've already heard that, a million times. And I did go against what I said I was going to do. Russell Wilson was still there, so I did get bit because the guy next to me at the turn grabbed Hayden Hurst. He grabbed Russell Wilson. 2 guys I would be looking at right now. But hey, I really wanted Michael Gallup. I love my core, so I'm gonna have to wait for quarterback, which I'm okay with, and I'm gonna have to wait for tight end, which I'm also okay with. So there's 6 quarterbacks off the board. There are 7 tight ends off the board. Let's just check those positions. Do a little check here. So at tight end, there's still Hunter Henry, who I'm down on. Tyler Higbee, it's too high for him. Hooper, Gesicki, Jared Cook, Rob Gronkowski, T.J. Hawkinson, Blake Jarwin. A lot of these guys I'm okay with. I don't feel the need to reach right now if I like some of these running backs or wide receivers. So let's see who else is out here for depth. Oh yeah, I already know who I'm picking. I had him in the last draft, so we're gonna go Kareem Hunt, especially since I already have 3 running backs. This is just huge upside with someone that's playable every week, and I think that's really no risk there, considering what the rest of my team looks like. Love that pick actually. So I got a little pop up here that's a nice value pick. So thank you guys, thank you. I appreciate the positive reinforcement. All right, so it comes back around to me. All right, so it gets interesting here. This is happening more often. Not as many quarterbacks are off the board this time as were my last mock draft, but a lot of quarterbacks are starting to go in round 7, 8, where it used to be, the top 2 guys were in the 2nd or 3rd round, and then the next 4 went in the 6th or 7th round, and then it was a couple rounds until people started going after that. Now you're seeing, Breeze, Ryan, Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, you're all starting to go in that 7th, 8th round. So who's still available for me at quarterback? Josh Allen is starting to fall. Now, if you watched my GDP versus ADP episode, you'll know that I'm down on Josh Allen. But at this point, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, he's the quarterback 11 right now. Carson Wentz is still there. Matthew Stafford is still there. Stafford is my, the guy I'm looking at. I don't want to lose out on him, but let's see who else is out there. Sterling Shepard, John Brown, Darius Slayton. See, I'm not in love with any of these receivers. I can wait and go for high upside young receivers that I like Henry Ruggs, Mecole Hardman, Justin Jefferson. I can wait for those guys. Do I want to look at running back again? That's the question. I don't know if I want to look at running back again, right? I've got a good amount of running backs here already. 1, 2, 3, 4. I only have 3 receivers. I still don't have a tight end. It's getting risky here, starting to wait for some of these positions. Let's go down and find the tight ends. Yeah, I'm still going to wait. I'm going to wait for Blake Jarwin, so I'm going to wait here again. Let's see. All right. We're going to go ahead with Kerryon Johnson. DeAndre Swift has a little bit of an injury. He might be the starter. We're not sure. So that could definitely happen. Let's see here. All right. We're going to find out here what's going to happen. All right, excuse me. I got to plug in here. I didn't realize I was so low. All right. Hopefully that keeps us going here. All right. So, Duke Johnson, Tariq Cohen go at the turn here. Those are decent PPR plays. I get it. So, let's look back. None of the quarterbacks went. I can still go quarterback. Now, the question is, am I going to wait? No. I'm going Matt Stafford. I'm just taking a guy that I like because I don't want to have to come back around and then go with Baker Mayfield or Jared Goff. In the last one, I waited extra long and I got Roethlisberger, who I'm okay with for week 1. But I think Matthew Stafford's an every week starter kind of guy if he's healthy. So, I took that plunge in the 9th round. I'm fine with that. A bunch of, backups go. Oh, well, a lot of the wide receivers I wanted, Mecole Hardman, Henry Ruggs, Justin Jefferson. A lot of those guys that I wanted, they went there. And then a bunch of tight ends, Higbee, Cook, Gronkowski, Hunter Henry, going later and later. But if you watch my episode, I'm down on him. So I'm okay with him going later. Let's look and see. I still need tight end. Will I pull the trigger here? Because if I wait, people are going to start taking their backup tight ends. Austin Hooper, Mike Gesicki. Let's look at my personal tight end rankings here. Try to find out who I have highest ranked. Let's find the tight ends here. Where are you? Where are you, tight ends? All right. Hold on. I got them coming up. Here we go. And I definitely have Blake Jarwin ahead of Gesicki. So I know it's a little early, but they're going to kill me on my grade for drafting Blake Jarwin so early when I could have waited. But the fact is, sometimes you like your guy. You're early in a round. You got to wait, a long time. You just want to make sure you get him. I only had 2 more picks to wait. I did miss out on somebody that I wanted in Antonio Gibson, but I have 5 running backs. I need to get another wide receiver, so that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go wide receiver again here and find who my favorite is on the board. Let's find out who's out here. All right, got some names coming up. Who do we got? Preston Williams, Jerry Jeudy. I like Jerry Jeudy. Curtis Samuel, Rashad Perryman. I like Perryman also. Paris Campbell, but I can wait. Any running backs that stick out that I really got to have? Boston Scott, Chris Thompson, all the backups. No, I got 5 running backs. I'm okay. I'm going to take a high upside wide receiver, and I'm going to go with Jerry Jeudy. The top rookie out of the class, a lot of people think, and I'm definitely okay with him at this point. I'm all about high upside and just filling out my team right now. So here you get a look at my team. If you can see it, obviously if you're on YouTube, you're getting a look at my team right now and a little bit of the draft board here. I've got 4 wide receivers, I've got 5 running backs, and 2 more bench spots to go. So I could go backup tight end, I can go backup quarterback. I might do one of those things. Let's see, I'm up here, and I have my next 2 picks are my last 2 picks, and there's only 4 left. So I got to make that decision. Do I want one of these backup tight ends in case Jarwin doesn't, in case it doesn't happen? Because you never know, it might not happen. And I think I'm going to grab Mike Gesicki as a second tight end. I'm not going to grab a second quarterback, but I'm going to grab that second tight end. And then I'm going to find another running back or wide receiver that I really like, that I think has upside, and I definitely found him. It's going to be Josh Kelly. Reports are that he might be taking over this job, this number 2 from Justin Jackson, and I think the number 2 really might be 1B in this offense along with Austin Eckler. So let's see what the grade is. Oh man, that's the same exact grade. All right, an 89 out of 100, B+, from the consensus experts. A little bit lower from the Fantasy Pros guys, a 92, a 90, and an 86. But I got to tell you, and this is the thing about doing your own projections, your own rankings. I love this team. Let's look through this team. Matthew Stafford, again, a guy that I was really high on. He was one of the top quarterbacks through 8 weeks when he went down with injury. Was on pace to have an absolute record year for him and would have put him as a top 5 or so quarterback. I don't have him that high. I got him late in the draft. I think I was the last person to draft a starting quarterback, and I think he's a weekly starter. I've got Saquon Barkley and Aaron Jones, no question there. A.J. Brown, Devontae Parker, Blake Jarwin as my tight end, and then in my flex right now I've got James Conner, but I've got Michael Gallup. I've got Michael Gallup, Kareem Hunt, Kerryon Johnson, Jerry Jeudy, Mike Gesicki, and Joshua Kelly. I got to tell you, with Michael Gallup and Kareem Hunt, my bench is just stacked with upside here. So I want to see what they're projecting me for here. All right, they have me as the number 3 scoring team. So yeah, I got an 89, but they have me as the 3rd highest scoring team in the league, the 4th highest starters, and the 2nd highest bench. So that speaks to what I was saying. My bench is absolutely stacked. And I love this team. So I've got depth, I've got upside. I'm pretty happy with this team. So that's it, guys. That's going to do it for us. That's the end of our 2nd episode here in the draft series. So make sure you watch all 12. I don't know where you're drafting. I don't know how many leagues you have, but get an idea of what your team can look like when you're drafting from one of these spots. Have some targets in each round, guys that you think fill out your team nicely. Whether you need a good floor, whether you need a good floor and good stability, or whether you need some upside on your team. There's different guys in every round you can target. But do these mock drafts, listen to them, do them, practice them. It's only going to help you. You don't want to tilt when it comes to your pick, and some of the guys you wanted are gone. You don't want to be freaking out and then make some of those picks that are really going to hurt your team. That's when bad things start to happen. So, all right, guys, we appreciate it. That's going to do it for us today. Go ahead and find us on all your major podcasting platforms. You can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, any of those, and a bunch of other ones, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, a bunch of stuff. Also, you can continue watching us on YouTube. If you like to see the mock drafts and the draft boards, of course, you can do that on YouTube. You can also see my beautiful face. I know that joke gets old. I'm already over it, but you can watch me on YouTube. That's fine. So, all right, that's going to do it for us. We appreciate it, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and join us for the next one.